Hi everybody, welcome to Common Ye Spurs TV. This is Soji, and with me I have Chuma. He'll join us on the other side, and we'll be doing a preview of the match between Luton Town and Tottenham Hotspur. In the meantime, come on Ye Spurs. Yeah, welcome back. This is Common Ye Spurs TV, where we talk about everything Tottenham. I've got Chuma on the line with me. Chuma, how are you?
Ah, I'm dancing a bright beam of red rage and red anger. I'm enjoying
I had a lot
myself.
of
It's
red
all
wine.
lily white.
I had a lot of red wine.
Red wine, red wine, as UB40 would say,
over the last few days. I'm still drinking it because I'm drinking some tears along with it as well.
As they say, as they say, in Cockney sang, there's a lot of claret spilt in Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. A lot of claret, and we're not ashamed to dance in the claret. Thank you very much.
Let's just do a bit of housekeeping very quickly, if you don't mind.
No, of
Yeah.
course. For those of you joining us for the first time, if this is your first time on the channel, you're returning. If you could please click on the subscribe button if you haven't already, smash the like button, and do leave a comment. And also click on the notification bell so you can be alerted anytime we've got new content available, stuff to talk about, kind of like how we're going to be talking about Liverpool very soon. But
I
do that,
know. We're
keep
not
up
meant
to
to be
date.
talking about Liverpool. That match ended a week ago, or, well, just about a week ago, or just under a week ago. But we still have comments coming out, and it just seems to be a never ending thing. Okay, match ended maybe in controversial circumstances to some extent. Obviously, Liverpool are unhappy uh, with what went on in the match, and there's this suggestion from the coach. I don't want to mention his name. That the match should be replayed, and of course, I mean, it's kicked off all sorts of um, stuff online, and everyone's sort of pitching in. But for us, it's just cry more, please. Just get on with it. I mean, come on, what's going on?
Exactly. Exactly. It's yeah, it's just we spoke about this off air. A lot of us sympathized with them regarding Luis Diaz's goal. You could see it with your naked eyes. It wasn't offside. It was a clear goal. I agree. We hold our hands up and say, well, these things happen in football where proper goals have been ruled out, and sometimes offside goals have been ruled in. These two things are not separate, and they're not they do happen, but regarding the red card, Curtis Jones's mistimed tackle on Bisuma, I mean, they were raging about that one, and I was like, come on. If roles were reversed, you'd say, yeah, unfortunate, there was no intent, or he's not a malicious player, Curtis Jones. Like, he's a good lad, but good lads make mistakes. He made a mistake. His foot went through, and the end point or the outcome was your studs were up. They connected to Bisuma's ankle, and in the laws of the game, it is called endangering your
The
opponent.
opponents, yeah,
And once that's done, it's a red card. Sorry, yes, you're a nice guy, you're a lovely dude. You didn't mean it, but you knew. If you watch the game, rewind to that spot. Curtis Jones knew he had messed up. He knew it, and he was like, okay, yeah, he got the yellow card, and in his mind, you could see the relief. And then all of a sudden, when they called back, he knew what was going to happen. You studied him. Then Jota, he got a yellow card. The first one, probably you'd say unjustly as well. But then once you're on a yellow card, you're on a tightrope. You know that any silly mistake you make turns to a second yellow, which automatically becomes a red card. We've seen this all through football. So as soon as you're in yellow, two things happen. Either you tone down your defensive action, or your manager substitutes you out the game. He subs you off
to
because
protect
that's the only way
protect
to
you and the
protect you.
team
Yeah.
from losing another man.
But Jurgen Klopp did neither of these things. He kept you on. You kept pressing us because you're down to 10 men, of course. And when you got down to 10 men, Liverpool they played really really well. They were still trying to be on the front foot as well, but part of that was reaching for a ball and tackling the doggy, and that was a yellow card. Second yellow card, you're gone. So 9 men. Nothing that happened in that game was as a result of Spurs doing anything, which is why when you look at the furore that's happened. The furore after the game is, oh, Spurs shouldn't be happy to celebrate beating 9 man Liverpool. That's one. Two, we should also demand that the officials do. I'm like, but we didn't do anything. It's the officials. It's VAR, and Spurs just stood there and we did what we needed to do. And at the end of the game, it was an own goal from your player that cost you the game.
Honestly,
You
it's
held
it's
out
just
resolutely. Congratulations. You played really well with 9 men. You're a great team. Yes, but you scored an own goal. And that's what won us the game. And we make no apologies for celebrating winning against a team that is a huge rival, or a team that, you could say you're better than us, you say you've won more than us, you have such a storied history, which is all true. But why shouldn't we celebrate beating Liverpool? We celebrate beating Liverpool because it's a thing, and then we celebrate 3 points, but they're like, "Oh, you're over celebrating." Bissouma had his child in
yeah.
his
You know,
arms, and
there's this celebration panel that sort of judges and says that, oh, you get 10 points for celebrating very wildly, or you get no points for not celebrating. You know, I'm thinking,
it. Yeah, and
excuse
you
me,
just start
please.
getting. Yeah. And then the goal of it all, the audacity of the thing for Jurgen Klopp to make a suggestion. He's going to come and say, "Oh, I didn't say we should replay. I just said, look, it will." No, you're suggesting it. You're trying to put it there. You're making little implications to try and see if the conversation will get legs. But notice this: no other clubs are allowing that thing get legs because everybody knows football in England, football generally swings and roundabouts. What goes around comes around, and other clubs will be in this situation as well, and they don't want a situation where somebody will get them to replay a man.
You
And
know,
meanwhile, let me add, let me just add this:
okay.
Jurgen Klopp, the king of congested fixtures, my players are playing too many games, is asking, lo and behold, for a replay or suggesting a replay. That's
Honestly,
that's just
the truth of the matter is that, look, this is where I always like to sing that Burna Boy song. Last, everybody
every
go chop
go
breakfast.
chop breakfast. Facts,
It simply means
facts.
that, look, ultimately people are going to get beaten. It's going to get decisions go against you. Things are going to happen that you're going to be unhappy about. It's just the nature of the game. You know, move on or cry more. You know. Anyway,
And,
let's move on. Luton Town beholds on Saturday early kickoff. We've broken the early kickoff. Who do thank you, Ange? You know, and Luton Town, they had one win away to Everton, and for me, they're not a team to be underrated or looked upon. It's just come up, tiny little ground up in Luton, Kenilworth Road. But honestly, they can give you a good game on their day. They're not pushovers, and there's no guarantee of any result in the league. I mean, for me, I think we should be go approach that match like we're going to play Liverpool or play any top team at or the same sort of level of preparation. Don't even underrate them at all, and that's my view. Anyway, what do you think?
I know I agree. I think quite the same, and I think actually that's the mindset of Tottenham under Ange Postecoglou since the season started. Tottenham are no longer going into games like, oh well, we could beat these guys, and I mean, especially after what happened with Sheffield United, where it wasn't for a lack of chances, but for a lack of clinical execution. We got to that match and got to that point where we were 1-0 down. It was such a shock. So I think, erase all doubts. I think Spurs is just going to go there and do a job from the beginning of the game. I think you're not going. You can't let Luton Town settle into any kind of rhythm. I think
Yeah,
Spurs are
and then
just going to
if
blitz
if
from
you, if you
from
if you if
kickoff.
you think about it, thankfully we've played two promoted teams already, and both of them have scored first against us. So that should be a huge warning sign to say, that, look, you can't take anything for granted. Burnley scored first when we played them away. You know, Sheffield United scored first before we equalized late, and obviously one turns around at the end. So there are no guarantees in this league, you know.
Mm.
It's that same attitude and mentality that we should go into this match with, and hopefully, But let's even look at our team and see. Let's not even focus on Liverpool or all those sort of, because it's just a bit of a distraction. And I love the fact that Liverpool, the centre of attention, taking away pressure from Ange and the players, and try to focus on our prep for this match. The good thing is that we didn't play in Europe during the week. You know, However,
Mm.
we have quite a number of injury challenges. That seem to be creeping up across the board. I mean, we've had Perisic, who's been reported injured, has undergone surgery. We got new reports about Mana Solomon being injured as well, and obviously creating a bit of problem on that side. Brian Johnson pulled up with a hamstring. I'm not sure how available it's going to be. And I mean, you have the other ones as well, don't you? I mean, you were talking about Lo Celso and all that. I mean, maybe
Youngman Son as well.
exactly. So
So
you had
reports of Son has been carrying Son and Madison have been carrying knocks since the Arsenal match.
right. So it's got to be managed quite well. I'd say, like I said, not playing in Europe has had its pluses in the sense that we, of course, better recovery time and better preparation time as well for the league matches, which sort of places us in a relatively good position, if you like, compared to those who are in and around us, at this point. But it sort of gives us what I call optimism, if you like, in terms of predicted outcomes and confidence in the squad and building on all the philosophy and playing pattern and Ange's style. I think a lot of people are changing their views on what they think the outcome of the league is going to be at the end of the season. But you know what I love the most about it is the fact that nobody is still giving us a chance. They're saying, okay, maybe they might do top four, maybe they might do top six. Let's see how it goes. Early days. And the point to the fact that at this point last season had the same number of points, maybe a goal more than we had last season, and everything came crashing down. Now, what's the difference this season?
Well, you're exactly right. We did score the same amount of goals because I think at the start of the season, the first game we played against Southampton, we scored like 4 goals. But that was the start of our pattern of conceding or losing the first half, and Spurs became the second half team, and we did that right up until the World Cup. But the difference is the stability of the squad, the attacking intent of the squad. So we scored goals, but it was mostly on a very ferocious counter, and that only manifested in the second half.
Mm-hmm.
In this one, you can see that we have more control. We are we set our attacking intent from the first half, and if we don't score any goals in the first half, it's not for a lack of trying. We usually register at least 6 or 7 or 8 shots on goal or on target by in the first half, which is not what we did last year. And then by the second half, we just continue pressing. We don't give up and we continue. It is just a completely aesthetically different type of football to what we did last year. And with the players, you can see that they're enthusiastic about playing. I think players, deep down inside, players like to attack because that's what they were trained to do. That's what they were bred to do in their schools and academies growing up. Is attack the space, move, change position. But where you are told to stay in the line, stay here, do this, that wasn't enjoyable for them. Yes, but same point, same everything. It's not a case of consistency. And under Ange Postecoglou, you can feel that we are more consistent, if nothing else, in mindset as well. It's not an up and down thing. We are just here. We are focused. We are going towards our goal. And like you said, we're highly underrated. We're underestimated amongst the teams supposedly in the top five, top six, in the conversation. Even to the point where even Brighton have suffered losses this season, but they're still sort of more highly regarded than Tottenham in certain circles. But you're looking at Tottenham, it's and it's too early to call it, but it's similar to what happened last year with Arsenal to a certain extent, where you kept waiting for Arsenal to lose last year. If you're a Spurs fan, especially, you're like, oh yeah, they're going to. Yeah, there was a popular image of the Arsenal elephant sitting on a tree, and
On
everyone's
top of the
waiting for
tree
that
branch.
little branch to break. In a weird way, this is Tottenham. This Tottenham so far this season, we're sitting on the branch, albeit we're sitting on a branch just slightly lower than Manchester City's branch, but we're just there. And so far, so good. We're eating our lunch, there's nothing going on, and
So far,
every
so
game,
good. Goni
yeah,
Badger.
every game, yeah, exactly. Every game has been, oh, that branch should break. The branch should really break, and it's not breaking. We're still there. We're eating dinner. They're waiting for us to eat breakfast up there. It hasn't happened yet. We're
We're
just eating
cooking.
two
We're
meals.
cooking. You know.
Exactly. And it's just for me, it's like, I said that thing some podcasts ago. One of my favorite things is like I'm a Marvel comic guy, and that shadowy group, Hydra, I love them. The bad guys, Hydra, you cut one head, another comes up, same as the
Absolutely.
normal Hydra. So it's like, this is what's going on. Man of Solomon, I saw the news. He has already had surgery already, you know 2 3 months out. And I said to myself, who's coming back? He said, Brian Hill is already training. I said, that's fair enough. I said, but you know what? Nobody's really been following our under 21s and under 23s, more or less. And those boys are cooking teams. They are actually smoking teams
I
in that
watched
under
I watched a
21
few
league.
clips about them a few days ago, and I thought to myself, these boys are really good. There's one particular boy, two
They,
boys actually, that kind of stood out for me: Santiago and Donnell.
Yago Santiago and Jamie Donnelly.
Donley. Those boys are
Jamie
just
Donnelly and Jamie Donnelly has been involved in a match day squads.
yeah.
So Jamie Donnelly is sort of seen as, in my opinion, I think he would be seen as more like a Madison replacement, and Yago Santiago can play wide. So I'm looking at Mano Solomon going down. Just bump up Yago Santiago and bump up Donnelly, and let's see what happens next.
A few quick things, just sort of maybe we should just sort of address this very quickly. I noticed this, so I don't know if you did as well. About one of the things, okay, maybe not necessarily me noticing this, but it's a fact that in terms of consistency over the course of the season, we're probably the first team that scored 2 goals over 7 matches in the history of the league. So that's a new record. I mean, at least equaling a record, I think by Leicester. So if some while back. That's the second point. Second point is this, right? I also noticed that Ange is beginning to sort of involve the younger guys a lot more on match days. Actually, Phillips has come on as substitute. Belize came on. Actually, was on his match day squad. He hasn't actually played any match yet.
No, no,
Belize,
Veliz came on. Veliz
yeah,
was the
yeah,
guy
yeah,
who
yeah. Belize,
he was
Belize
at the
did come
back
on.
post. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Belize did come on. Um,
yeah.
we had what's the word? Donnelly was involved in match
Jamie
day
Donnelly
squad.
is there. Yeah.
Yeah. So you can tell that he's beginning to sort of slowly ease them into the squad, get match experience, even though you don't even come on. But that experience is invaluable for those young boys, having to train with first team in this big stadium, 60,000 people. That is phenomenal for those boys, So I think slowly they'll begin to get integrated into the team, and I mean, obviously play matches and we'll see what happens. The other thing which I also we've talked about as well. I don't know if we haven't talked about it on this program. Is this right? If you look at the 5 substitutions that we made the last few matches, right? You notice that people like Son come off, um, Isuma came off, Madison came off, um, like 5 of our key players actually came off, and it did not drop our intensity one bit. If anything at all, it actually upped the intensity, and off of those changes, we've been able to sort of achieve results, in terms of outcome for our matches. I mean, against Sheffield United, Kushevsky moved to the inside and it's caught with the right foot. You know, this time around, we had Højbjerg and Udogie, uh, essentially just putting that young man under pressure to give the ball away and make and make the error. So you can see that a lot of what's the word those changes, the man almost looked like, hang on, what's Ange doing? We're trying to score. Why are you taking these guys off? But the results came. The results came. And uh, it's no coincidence in my view. What do you think?
Yeah, no, I fully agree. I think the key word here is accountability, football accountability. Like for so many years, and we credit Pep Guardiola with that phrase where Pep Guardiola called us the Hurricane team, and what that Hurricane team did, how degrading it was to the rest of the squad in terms of how it came across was that you know they weren't holding themselves accountable. This guy was the one doing everything for us, and the mindset or the perception rather, sorry, out there is that once Harry Kane goes, these guys are finished. And Ange came and Ange flipped the model over, saying, no, you guys are more than just one guy. You are wonderful as a sum of parts, and you're wonderful as individuals as well. I trust each and every one of you. That thing, that trust that comes from knowing that you're accountable, I think is huge for football players, because as soon as Son comes off, someone like Koscielny is looking, I have extra responsibility. I can't give the ball away. I have to do this. I have to do that. You throw in a Hoiberg. Hoiberg is someone who news reports have come out and he's saying that if he doesn't see himself playing first team football, he's off. And that's fair enough. He sees himself as a first team player. His mindset is of a first team player. So when he comes on the pitch, he's not sulking. He's doing what the first team player would do. I am trying to help my team to win. And he started spreading the ball out more. He came into that match against Liverpool, and he was strictly on automatic mode of we need to spread it wide, because if Liverpool congest the middle, we can't break them. We need to go wide. And lo and behold, Romero coming forward and passing that ball out to Porro, and that cross resulted in the goal. If
Absolutely.
Matip hadn't touched that ball, Velis was at the far post. If that
Exactly.
ball had reached, Velis would have still scored. So
Yeah.
either which way, it was a win-win. But it all stemmed from as soon as Hoiberg came on that pitch, Hoiberg was on mission to do that. And then Skip was also trying to make forays in box to box as well. So everybody has sort of, they've all been initiated
Bought
into
into
the
this
cult of,
philosophy.
yeah, into the cult. I call it the cult of Ange, because I was reading something the other way, an Australian player who played for him. This guy said I would run through a brick wall for this man, and I was like, bloody hell, that's a bit strong, but that's exactly what it is. It's almost a cult. A cult is something where everybody believes in a single goal and they are willing to do things regardless of whatever the circumstances or adversities or challenges that present themselves to them. They are still willing to follow the course of their leader or the philosophy that they follow. And that's what's happening at Spurs at the moment. It's working. It's working far quicker than anybody thought it would for Ange Postecoglou. There will be valleys, there will be low points, but so far so good, and the players have really embraced it. They've really bought into it, and
So far,
you
so
can see
good.
that.
Koni Baje.
So no, but it's no, it's really it's so funny that I since the season started, like summertime. I don't know if you observed this, but the sheer toxicity of Spurs fans online, it was unbelievable. Like the hatred, the anger, the clear division between us. You're inic. If you're not saying you're inic out, you're definitely inic in. And that was like, no, I'm not inic in, but I'm not inic out either. I just like Tottenham and I like watching them play. But once you say, oh, you don't put up those colors, the purple and whatever or whatnot, and gold or whatever, then you're definitely not one of us.
Oh, they
All
have
these
colors?
divisions, yeah, exactly. They do. They do. They fractured the fan base. All of a sudden, this man has come to this club. He has been brutally honest with us. He values the job. He looks at us as the best thing since sliced bread has happened to him and his life. And the way he's taking up the challenge and taking everybody with him. And I'm not just talking the players. He's taking the staff. He's taking the fans along with him on this journey that he's creating. And it's 6, 7 games in. Everyone's saying, "No, I'm getting carried away." I think when you find or meet somebody special, you don't need to be told twice. I hate when people introduce themselves to me as sort of like a savior, or they describe themselves. I don't need to know you're a doctor. From your behavior, I'll go, "Oh my god, this guy's a doctor." It's what
He
you
sure
are
looks
and it's
like a
what he is.
physician.
Yeah, he's the ultimate chef. He's cooking. Ange is cooking, and we're eating. We're loving what he's serving up every single game. And we go into it, win, loss, draw. We don't mind, but we're not losing. We say win, loss, draw in our heads, but Spurs fans are now saying win, loss, draw. But guess what? We won't lose. We never lose. We just keep going. We're not going to stop. We don't stop. We just keep going for you till we get that draw or we get the win.
Yeah, it's amazing what winning does to the vibe and to the atmosphere in clubs, and the atmosphere after the match, the last two home matches has been absolutely incredible, absolutely
Oh,
incredible. If you could bottle up that atmosphere and take it home, it's priceless,
the
priceless.
roars after the Sheffield United
Yeah,
winner,
yeah.
and then the roar after that own goal. My
When that
God,
Ongo went in, it was absolute. I mean,
you were watching it on TV. We're not even in the ground. We're watching,
yeah,
but you could
it
feel the
was
goal.
scene. Yeah, he
You
was
know,
unbelievable. Unbelievable.
brilliant, absolutely brilliant, absolutely brilliant.
Let's have a quick look at my color predictor lineup. I've got a sort of legend here, which it's kind of done up in my head, but hey, you tell me. Does this look likely, or I mean, given where we're at now, you got Vicario in goal. Yes, you agree with that? Yes.
Yeah, I do. By the way, let me just add, like, I was so happy that my call about Richarlison playing left wing happened the last game. I was so happy because I felt it that you playing Richarlison at that left and playing Son middle, it would work because you're not trying to dribble Liverpool. You're trying to play behind whoever is playing right back. So yeah.
All right, so yeah, fantastic, and I mean, you're the guru anyway. So, like I always say,
If only I could monetize
this
these
guru status,
Nostradamus
eh?
moments. But yeah,
Right. So,
but back to the legend, Vicario. I basically think you got it right because I was going to say in this particular game um because I think Luton Town would be more defensive and sort of more mid-low block. I would have played Mano Solomon, but because of the absence of Solomon now, I would actually reverse that. I would go Richarlison center, Son left
okay.
because Son has more skill than him in terms of beating one on one, and you're not looking to run in behind. You're just looking
Right.
for a striker. So I think Son would go back left, and then Richarlison would swap places with Son. He would now be the main striker.
So most likely, Madison will keep moving around like that, right?
Madison will maintain. Yeah, Madison will maintain, and yeah.
Right. Okay.
Someone who's coming for a bit of flack as well is Kulusevski. But when you check the stats on Kulusevski so far this season, Kulusevski ranks like top three in everything for his position this season. But people are not feeling, they're not seeing it. He's not passing the eye test, so to speak.
Yeah. I mean,
But Kulusevski is doing
apart
work.
from Son scoring 6 goals so far this season, nobody else scored more than 2 goals. I mean, so hey, Kulusevski scored 2 goals so far. Yeah, and he's behind Son as top scorer.
Yeah,
So
and he's got assists and he's got like pre-assists as well, where he
absolutely,
gives the ball to.
absolutely.
So, but you just can't see it. I was watching Man City yesterday. I was watching their game. I'm looking at Bernardo Silva, and I'm saying Bernardo Silva is not that much different to Kulusevski. It's just that I think he's learned how to do it better in Pep's system than Kulusevski has in Ange's. But it's the same thing. He's not beating his man. He's not using his right as much. Bernardo Silva. He's still coming into his left, but the movements I think are different from Man City players. So when you look at Kulusevski, everyone say, "Oh, he's so predictable. We know he's going to cut into his left." Is that I say, "Yeah, yeah, we do. We all know this. This is going to happen." But he's opening up a lot of things, and he's trying. He's very creative on that side. It's just some things aren't coming up. But at the same time, he moves the ball so quickly sometimes. I love his like one touch passes sometimes to release people down the line. So quick and smooth. So I think it's the same lineup, just Son and Richarlison switch. Richarlison plays up top properly behind them, looking to go in behind, and Son coming from the left.
So, let's leave it like that at the moment because we have that's the lineup, right? In terms of,
Yeah,
and then we'll
yeah.
probably have that, and Richarlison in the
Yeah,
middle. Yeah.
yeah. That's the only thing I think. Those are my thoughts.
Okay, fine. I mean, listen, I'm just a co-host. You are the guru, okay?
Yeah. No, no, but you have to always bow to Optimus. Like if in Transformers, Optimus Prime is the general. So what can you say? What can you do?
I know, right? Right. So, scoreline predictions.
Oof. Bearing in mind what you said about um, Burnley and Sheffield United scoring against us for whatever reason, I don't know why. I sort of see their ground very similar to Bournemouth. And the thing about Bournemouth's ground and their ground is, if you remember our enemies down the road, you remember their old ground, Highbury as well.
Yeah.
It's one of those small grounds where, if you're a very good pressing team, you kill the opposition. I think their ground is small enough for us to press them effectively. So I don't see them scoring, but I see Spurs scoring at least three. So I see 3-0. I see a 3-0. More than two goals always, but 3-0. Maybe even more. Maybe I see this match similar to Burnley's. And I think I look at us like, if we start off really well and we get going, 3-0 minimum, maybe could be the
Could be
minimum, but
more.
3-0.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, Optimus Prime in full swing. I'd go 4-0. So yes, 4-0 Tottenham. That's my prediction. And we'll see how that goes. Um,
But at the same time, we've been saying this for a while, that even though outside of the Burnley match, like Tottenham will look to damage somebody very soon,
yeah.
like really, really damage a team. I don't know if Luton might be that team. Maybe I'm speaking ahead. Maybe not. And yeah, guys, should comment on the comment section if you just write down your score predictions as well. And are we thinking too far of ourselves to say 3-0, 4-0, maybe even more? Let us know.
Yeah. Great. Thank you so much, Juma. So thank you so much, Juma,
Yeah.
for joining us. And yeah, join us on the aftermath, the 90 minutes unplugged, right after the match on Saturday. Kickoff is 12:30. I think the aftermath probably going to be about 3:15. So if you want to join us then, yeah, look out and set your notifications and bell buttons. Yeah. Shuma, are you joining us on that day or not? I mean, you will be
No,
available, won't
I'm
you?
I like my social life doesn't allow me join
Oh my
the
goodness.
after.
Oh my goodness. He has a social life. Can you believe that, guys? He has a social
Of-
life.
my social calendar. It's I like enjoyment. That's all I can say. That's all.
That's
Like,
okay.
anybody who has
That's
a party
okay.
or barbecue that they want to invite me to, boy, DM me. I'm
That's
available.
okay. Thank you so much, Shuma.
Nah,
In the
pleasure.
meantime, come on, you Spurs, guys.
Come on, you Spurs.